or at least since we changed our email some time ago, Todd at ToddHuffShow.com, Facebook.com/Todd Huff Show for those of you who want to watch the program and see that, yes, I do, in fact, have a face for radio. Good to be here, and thank you for joining us. I want to start today by reading from this article that Pastor Robert Jeffers has written, posted at, dare I say this, don't get mad at me for this, Fox News. I know many of you, and rightfully so, are upset at Fox for calling Arizona when it did, for jumping in line and calling Joe Biden the president-elect, which he's not the president-elect. He may be. We'll talk about that as time comes together. There's only, or as the program unfolds, I guess, and as we get to that point in the process. But there's a couple of news organizations out there that are not calling it for anyone yet, those being the Epic Times, Newsmax, I think, I think One American News Network. But beyond that, everyone else has called this race, of course, for Biden, even though there are lawsuits and recounts in, I believe it's 6 states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, or Nevada as Trump says, and Arizona. So it's how you all call, how those are all called. Fox has it at 290 for Biden, 217 for Trump. And even if the state of Pennsylvania, which to me seems to be the one most likely to have problems for Joe Biden, that particular state has 20 electoral votes, and if that if Pennsylvania is flipped because of the counting of ballots past deadlines and all that sort of stuff that we see being accused in Pennsylvania, particularly Philadelphia, and to I think a lesser extent Pittsburgh. But nonetheless, if that happens, Biden's still at 270, which is what you need to become president of the United States. And so people say, look, Biden's going to win this thing. And then I've seen some erroneous comparisons. And people say, well, Florida back in 2000 when Gore was challenging the results there, that came down to 537 votes, and that was just one state. It's mathematically impossible for all these things to go into Trump's favor. Now, I agree with that under normal circumstances, but folks, this is not just recounts we're talking about. We're talking about allegations of mass fraud, not just dead people voting, but ghost people, as some folks have termed voters who never even existed. There are serious allegations out there. And again, as I've said before, and I stand by this 100%. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about this. I think people have, in many cases, made up their minds based upon an old adage that I learned many years ago: the mind will justify what the heart desires. If people believe that, if in their heart they want Joe Biden to win, they'll justify the media calling it for Joe Biden. If people want Trump to win, they'll justify, they'll be upset that the media called it for Joe Biden. And we all are human and we have those tendencies, but I think if we can take a deep breath and take a step back, it's clear that there is absolutely unequivocally fraud in this country. There's no question about it. The question isn't whether or not there is fraud. That is not the proper way of discussing this. There absolutely is fraud. It's just like saying, is there any theft in the United States of America? Well, of course there's enough. There's theft. The question is whether these things become big enough factors to be considered epidemics or larger problems, or in the case of the election, is it big enough of an issue to actually change the outcome of an election? And that's what we're looking into. It's not whether or not fraud exists. Of course fraud exists. There's countless examples. People keep saying, show us the evidence. Of course, there's evidence. It's preposterous to say that there's no evidence. Maybe you say that the evidence is only for a handful of ballots. Okay. Maybe you say that there couldn't be a big enough swing in the votes. Okay, but to say there's no evidence is simply not being fair. So with that as our kind of foundation here, I want to read to you from this article, Pastor Robert Jeffries. He is a Fox News contributor. I know that's a bad word to say on this show right now, but just bear with me. I want you to hear this because I want to talk about this, and I think this is important. I have a lot of respect for Pastor Jeffries, and he's been on Fox in the past. He has been a defender of President Trump. He is he's an advisor, I think, or some. I don't know if it's formal, but he's helped. He's been involved with President Trump, kind of in a spiritual capacity. So he knows him. He's campaigned with him and all these sorts of things. But the question is that he raises is Biden. Well, he says this. This is his headline, not mine. Biden is president-elect. Of course, it's written at Fox News. For all I know, Fox News made him title it this. Because Fox News, I watch these folks, and when I watch this, I'm glad that I don't. Glad that I get to come on this program. I don't have to clear what I'm about to say with anybody. I see some of these folks at Fox now, and I can see that the network or the organization has told the folks on Fox News you have to talk about Biden being president-elect on our channels, on our media. You have to do this. And I don't have to do that, and I'm thankful for that. Again, it doesn't mean that Biden will not be. I hope and pray that he is not president-elect, but we are not there yet. You can make odds. People are still betting on this stuff. There's still betting odds. Let me tell you this. People who take betting odds don't allow you to place bets on something that have already happened. You can't go back and place a bet on the 2020 Super Bowl. You're not allowed to do that. You are allowed to bet on things that have not yet happened. I mean, this is as clear as day to me, and I think it's as clear as day as anybody who wants to look at this. This election is not over. It may be, but there are things left to play out. There's evidence that is going to be presented, and this will move up the ranks of the courts. Ultimately, quite possibly, all of these, I don't know, cases will end up at the Supreme Court. But anyway, with that in mind, I want to talk about this. Biden, Pastor Robert Jeffries says, is the president-elect. How should Christians respond? You know that if you've listened to this program for any time, not only am I a conservative, I'm a Christian conservative. He has a couple of sub-questions here. What is God doing in this outcome? Why would he allow this to happen? Dr. Robert Jeffries, FoxNews.com. Here's what he has to say. It appears that former Vice President Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United States on January 20th, unless President Trump succeeds in legal challenges to the counting of votes in several states. For millions of Christians across our nation, this is a bitter, no pun intended on conservative, not bitter talk, but this is a bitter pill to swallow. I'm sure many of you listening to my voice today can relate to that. You don't like the idea of there being a President Joe Biden, and do not misunderstand, that is not the case yet. It may be, but we're not there yet. They want you to believe that this is a foregone conclusion. They want it firmly, they being the media, they being the Democrat Party, firmly established in your mind psychologically that Joe Biden is president. In fact, yesterday, out there naming a chief of staff, talking about a lot of crazy stuff, including, by the way, national shutdowns, national COVID shutdowns. Buckle up for this if Biden's president. 4 to 6 weeks They think they can have this licked if we just all hunker down, as Governor Holcomb will tell it. Just hunker down, Hoosiers helping Hoosiers, just taking care of each other. We're all in this together. Kumbaya and the rest of the stuff. But anyhow, get ready for some sort of a national lockdown if, God forbid, Biden is president. So, but I know that many of you as Christians, I know that many of you are Christians, professing Christians, church-attending Christians. You have problems. You don't like the idea of a Biden presidency for a lot of reasons. In fact, reasons that run counter to your faith. At the top of the list, I would say, is Biden's position on abortion. You would say, Todd, as a Christian, I have a very difficult time supporting a president who believes in abortion, or a president who wants to take away a right that God has given us, which is namely the Second Amendment. This guy wants Beto O'Rourke out there running his gun confiscation campaign, or whatever, his become a gun czar in this nation. And we know that Beto is a radical anti Second Amendment guy. So there's concerns on that. There's concerns on Biden moving and embracing socialism, which socialism is not. I know many people out there will say to you, Jesus was a socialist. Jesus was not a socialist. What people don't understand is that socialism is a form of government. Jesus didn't even address. He dealt with governing authorities. Jesus came to the individual, and Jesus taught the church. That's the collective body of the individuals who believe upon him. That's who he was speaking to. He was speaking to those, of course, he spoke to those who hadn't accepted him to get them to believe that he was the Son of God, but he wasn't here to change a governmental system. He was here to change the heart of humanity. He was here to show us the way that we should live as individuals, and to speak to the church, the body that would be responsible for carrying out his teachings throughout the generations to follow. So he wasn't here to change a government. It talked about the churches. The New Testament talks about churches who shared possessions, certainly, but they didn't do it because of a government mandate. They did it because of their own free will, which is a much, much different scenario. Not only that, when Jesus talked about helping the poor, he talked about you and me helping the poor. He didn't talk about the state of Indiana or the federal government helping the poor. He viewed that as something that the church should be intimately involved with instead of at a distance. It's a different thing. It's a much different thing, and the United States used to work this way. But anyway, there's lots of reasons you may find a Biden administration to be a difficult pill to swallow. Pastor Jeffrey says a bitter pill to swallow, and I understand that. And so the question is, now what? Let's just assume, I just want to, again, I'm not throwing in the towel here. I don't want you to think that. There are realities. Biden could absolutely be president of the United States, president-elect. That's absolutely true. I said that for months, so I don't feel like I'm saying anything different. We have a legal process that is yet to be played out. We have a hand recount in the state of Georgia, which is left to be played out as well. Not only that, we got 2 Senate seats up for grabs in Georgia as well. Republicans now have 50 seats in the Senate. This was not a blue wave as they've tried to predict for months. This is not the blue wave at all. And they are, but it does come down to winning at least one of those 2 Senate seats to maintain power. Anyway, that's where we are today. But I want to continue going through this article here from Robert Jeffries, because I think that it's just something that got me thinking about what our role is, and this idea that what does it really mean for God to appoint rulers and governments and so forth. I want to talk about all these things on the other side of this first timeout, which we have to take. Sit tight. Be back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit ToddHuffShow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Ever wondered what shooting a real machine gun feels like? At Indie Trading Post, you can have an awesome and safe shooting experience in our family-friendly environment. Firing a weapon on full auto is something you will always remember. Schedule some range time today and let Indie Trading Post give you the real machine gun shooting experience. We guarantee you'll have a blast. Give us a call at 317-782-4867 or schedule your range time at fullautoindy.com.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Some cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Foreign Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corn Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Welcome back. So talking about this article that Robert Jeffries at foxnews.com. Don't hate me for pulling a article from there. I saw this somewhere else and followed the links, and lo and behold, I ended up on Fox News, foxnews.com, where he has basically he's talking to Christians about supporting or what to do, how to respond to the possibility of Biden being president of the United States, especially when Trump has been a friend of religious liberty and all these sorts of things. In fact, that's what he writes about here next. President Trump's strong policies on life and religious liberty would have seemed, from our vantage point, to be a better path for our country's future. Many of you may be asking, what is God doing in this outcome? Why would he allow this to happen? In January 2016, a year before Donald Trump was inaugurated as president, I was flying around Iowa with the then businessman to campaign with him before the Iowa caucuses. We had just finished our elegant lunch of Wendy's cheeseburgers when I said to him, Mr. Trump, I believe you are going to be the next president of the United States, and if that happens, it will be because God has a great plan for you and for our nation. Robert, do you really believe that? He asked. Yes, sir, I do, I replied. Donald Trump then asked, okay, then if that's true, let me ask you a question. Do you believe it was God's will for Obama to be president? Yes, sir, I do, I said. Daniel 2:21 says that it is God who changes the times and the epochs. He removes kings and establishes kings. Human governments and rulers, Robert Jeffries writes here, change at God's direction and design. Our faith and our salvation lie not in any human ruler, but in the ruler of rulers, the King of Kings. Amen to that, by the way. I've said before, government is not my God. That's why you will not find me howling at the universe. You will not find me crying hysterically if, God forbid, Joe Biden becomes our president. You won't find that. The left wants that. In fact, I've gotten I shouldn't say many. I've gotten a couple of messages of people who voted for Biden that are taunting me. It doesn't bother me. In fact, I think it reveals a lot more about them than it does about me. That's life. It is. They'll act as they act, and that's of no concern to me. What is of concern to me is that I do serve a risen Savior, and that he is in control no matter what happens. So Robert Jeffries is right on this. He continues here, we have to remember that even though the occupant of the White House is changing, the one who occupies the throne of heaven hasn't changed. Amen, and that is absolutely true. The fact that God, he continues here, has established authorities means that by obeying government, we obey God. The Apostle Paul told us, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Romans 13:1. Paul also told us to pray for all people, for kings, and all who are in high positions. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Now it's easier, he says, to submit and to pray for someone when he was our preferred candidate, but the rubber really meets the road when the person who takes office is not the one we supported. Paul didn't give us any wiggle room. His command applies all the same, whether the emperor was the faith-friendly Constantine or the evil Emperor Nero. Now, I want to pause here. That's a lot of stuff to take in. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that Trump's chances are zero. In fact, I heard one of our listeners on Facebook says the odds of Trump, in his estimation of winning this, pulling this thing out, are 25%. So there are odds that Trump wins. We can debate what those are. I'm sure someone out there thinks that they're 90%, and there's someone out there that thinks it's 100%, and there's someone out there who thinks it's 0%. But there are some odds. There are some odds that Trump will win this, and there are certainly odds that Biden wins this, percentages, chances, and so forth. So, but let's look at this and break this down, because this is something that I think is important. I do believe that as professing Christians, we have an obligation to accept the outcome of the election. I also believe that as Christians or not, that applies to everybody, but this article is written to Christians, so that's how I'm speaking for the moment. But Christianity aside, we also have an obligation. We have an obligation because this nation is different from all others. You know, I'm reminded here as we're talking about God and the Bible and so forth here. God allowed Israel to have a king, but folks, if I am to be so blunt as to say it was not God's plan, you could say it was not God's will for Israel to have a king, because God says, I am your king. And so he agreed to institute kings. And so it is both true, I believe, you can make the case that yes, it was God's will for there to be kings, because he allowed that to happen. We know he allowed Saul and David and Solomon, and then we've got the kings of the divided kingdom and so forth. There were wicked rulers, there were good rulers, and there were kind of everything in between. But basically, what we hear about are the good, and we hear about the evil rulers and kings during those times. But God, that wasn't God's plan. He told them, I'm your king. Now, it was God's plan in another sense because he allowed it to happen. And so I think we have to see it through that lens. And this nation is different, folks. You know, I look at the history of the world. That doesn't mean that the Bible doesn't apply. Don't misunderstand me. But we're different than a lot of other people. I would say almost every other person that has walked this planet. We live in a nation that is intended, I say that with a little bit of hesitation because of the change that we've seen in our government in recent times. But the government derives its power from the consent of the governed. We are a self-governing people. And dare I say that this is the best way to live this side of heaven. Is not to have authoritarians in power over us, is not to have people there who are taking away our abilities to choose, make decisions for ourselves, for our families, for our businesses. Not to have folks take those away. In one sense, I would say absolutely, it's not the will of God for people to have those ideologies to be in power. Some really terrible and wicked and gruesome things have happened because of people like that throughout history. I mean, there's extreme examples from Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong to Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez, right? Pol Pot, on down the line, gang. I mean, you can go back in history and look at some brutal things. And so I think, yes, we have an obligation here to accept the outcome, to pray for our leaders. We are commanded to do that. But we also have an obligation to stand up for for those ideas and beliefs that really are biblical and true and sound. Now, not everything political can be traced back. I mean, some things are truly just preference, right? I mean, is it wrong, for example, that someone likes vanilla ice cream more than chocolate? I would say yes. Kidding. But that's not a matter of right and wrong, of absolute truth. That's a matter of preference. Some things, likewise in politics, and the rest of life is a matter of preference. But there are things that are true. For example, it is true that life begins at conception. That's scientifically true. That's spiritually and biblically true. So therefore, as a Christian, I think God would expect this from us. We stand in support of pro-life. I think of pro-life policies, of things that protect the life of the unborn. I think that that's absolutely true. Now, to those who are in the pro-choice community who say, yeah, but you should care about the lives of people after they're born too. Yeah, not just when they're in the womb. Okay, I agree with that as well, but it depends with what you mean by that. Because if you're going to use that as an argument to say that suddenly now the government has to be involved, you're going to lose me because of what I said earlier in this program, that I think that people should be free to do right freely versus do right through coercion. In fact, I think something coerced is never a good thing. I think it's ultimately why God left intact our ability to have free choice and to choose. That's a powerful thing. That is unique. That's what makes us uniquely human. That makes us a reflection of God. We have the abilities to choose. These are one of the ways that we execute our I guess, demonstrate the fact that we're made in God's image is that we have this ability to make these choices and to choose. And we lose this when we lose a certain type of government over another. And dare I point out something else? And I don't want this to be misconstrued because I'm not calling for revolution and armed rebellion. But remember, like we talk about the founders with this, I think, reverence and respect, as we should. These folks didn't completely just submit to the King of England and allow their liberties and freedoms and to go away and to fall by the wayside. And again, don't misunderstand me. I'm simply pointing out that the line on this thing is not necessarily clear cut. Yes, we should accept reality. Yes, we should pray for our leader, if that is Joe Biden. But to say that God allowing it and God wanting that to be the outcome, and that God fully embraces all the policies of Joe Biden, which I'm not saying Jeffries is saying here, but someone could extrapolate that from those statements. That is not at all the case. Right? I mean, it's inconsistent. We also know God doesn't change. So why would God choose, depending on your definition of God's will, why would God choose one president to institute limited government, to drain the swamp, and then in the next 4 years bring someone in and appoint someone who is the epitome of the swamp, someone who has a lot of corrupt allegations of corruption out there as well? Why that? Look, we have a role in this, and I don't always know where the line is, but I do know God's in control, and I know that we have responsibilities and that we have a obligation to stand up and to fight at this particular time, to fight for the actual honest election results, and to, once that is decided, to do our best to bring about healing. But that does not mean we compromise on principle. In fact, if these things are fundamentally true that we believe, we better be prepared to fight for these things with everything we've got. And I'm long in this segment. Got to take a break, come back and continue this talk after the break. Sit tight, back here in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at ToddHuffShow.com/shop today.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, president of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Welcome back. Just going through an article here written by Robert Jeffries, pastor, Dallas, I think, is where his church is, talking about, he refers to Biden in the headline here. Now, no idea if Fox made him do this or if he did this of his own free will, calling Biden the president-elect, which he's not the president-elect, not yet. This is not complicated stuff. It really isn't, but yet that's the narrative. In fact, I just got an alert from the New York Times. Yes, I get those emails from the New York Times. Headline, I'm not going to forget about the article here that we're talking about, but headline, David Leonard says this: good morning. A president is trying to undo an election result. How would you describe that situation in another country? President is trying to undo an election result. The president is trying to get to the true election result. How about this? How about fake news makes up stupid headlines in America? How would you describe that if it happened in another country? David Leonard. These people are so blinded to truth, they wouldn't know it if it smacked them up the side of the head. Anyway, back to the article here. I just have a couple minutes in this. Actually, I'm already over time on this segment because I was long last segment, but I want to finish this. Here's what he says. This is kind of the whole point of his article. He writes this. This is him, not me. I'm not saying he's 100% wrong, but there's some things about this I don't agree with. Here is our chance to show that Christians are not hypocrites. We serve a God who remains on his throne, amen, sovereignly reigning over every square inch of this vast universe, amen. We serve a God who loves us and will never leave or forsake us, amen. And now we have the chance to show the consistency and constancy of our Christian witness to the world. When Joe Biden becomes president, when is what he says here, we should commend him for the things he does right. Okay, all right. We should condemn him for the things he does wrong. That's right. Above all, we must fervently pray for our president. If President Biden succeeds, we all succeed. I don't know about that. May God bless Joe Biden and may God bless the United States of America. Two things I want to talk about here, and I'm going to have to do it after the break because I'm long in the segment. One, this idea that we get to show people that we're not hypocrites. Number one. Number two, this idea that if Joe Biden succeeds, we all succeed. Reminds me of something Rush Limbaugh wrote about years ago that he took a lot of flack for, even though Rush Limbaugh was unequivocally absolutely correct. So, timeout is in order. Do not panic. We'll be back here in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing, and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick.
Dial the number, spell the words.
For on time.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
Hi, this is Kenton with Christian Community Connect. We're a network of business professionals that are committed to living out our faith in the marketplace by preferring one another in love while serving everyone. With online listings at $27 per month, if you're a Christian in business, committed to treating others as you would want to be treated, we would love to include you. Check our reviews and sign up at ChristianCommunityConnect.com.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
It's deer season. Whether you are an experienced hunter or just looking to start, the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has the deer gear you need. With an indoor archery range, huge product selection, and a friendly staff ready to answer all your questions. We can help you through bow, gun, and muzzleloader season. Make the Outdoorsman in Greenwood part of your deer camp this year. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. Happy hunting.
Welcome back. This idea that now suddenly we have a chance to prove to people the authenticity of our Christianity. Let me say this. I focus more on being authentic than I do on trying to get people to see that I'm authentic. You know, the word hypocrite refers to someone who's playing a part in acting. And I think in order to get that really out of our minds, we have to get out of our minds that we're in a performance. I think the world would be so refreshed if they just saw us being genuine and authentic without worrying about trying to appear genuine and authentic. I think so many things happen when we focus on how something looks than how something really is. That's the beginning of, I think, pretentiousness. I think that's the beginning of setting the mindset. I remember, I've shared this on here before. I had a good friend. We used to work in a youth group together, working with young teenagers, teaching them about the Bible and so forth. And we talked about this very thing. And he would say, you know, how can people see. And look, I'm not saying there's no truth in this. Our job as Christians is to share the gospel. Our job is to let people see Jesus in us. But I think instead of focusing on what they see, we should focus on what we should do. That's what I think. And so we used to have that argument, I guess, in a friendly way. I said, I think if we spend more time being authentic, doing what we believe God wants us to do, being prepared to articulate why, we're in a much better position than if we simply say, what is the thing that looks right here? There's a lot of things that looks right? Jesus called the Pharisees whitewashed tombs. You look beautiful, put together on the outside, but you're dead on the inside. That is my problem with that. And the other thing is people, look, the mind will justify what the heart desires. Some people in their minds have already, in their hearts decided that Christianity is a bunch of nonsense, hooey, and that no matter what we do, no matter how hard we try, and if our measure is always on what they see, we're never going to be fulfilled. But if instead our focus is on what we should do, no matter what happens, go and tell. That's the command, go and tell. Now, there's also verses about, not doing something that causes someone to stumble. I'm not saying to be haphazard and flippant about this. I am simply saying if the focus is put more on being genuine and sincere instead of putting on some sort of a show, and being prepared to explain to people. I do this on a regular basis, explain things to those who engage with me about this. But anyway, the other thing is, here is if Biden succeeds, we all succeed. I want to pause that. I want to hit a massive pause button on that because that is not a true statement necessarily. It reminds me back in 2008, I remember, or 2009, I guess, after the election, Rush Limbaugh was asked to write, I forget what he said, 500 words, some number of words, editorial for some publication about his hopes for Obama's administration, right? Because that's back when the world was unified because, everyone had gotten behind this man, who was going to be the first black president. Everything was going to be fantastic. We were going to see peace on earth and utopia ushered in. That was the narrative back then. It sounds hard to believe given, for those of you who just have entered the political fray and watched how the media has treated Donald J. Trump for the past 4 years, but that's how we that's how we treated Barack Obama when he was president, and his 100-day honeymoon turned into an 8-year honeymoon with the media. But anyhow, the idea, Rush said, I don't need 200 or 500 or 1,000 words. I need 4. And I forget the publication at the time. They said, what do you mean? He says, my 4 words are, I hope he fails. Oh, this set off a firestorm. What do you mean you hope he fails? What do you mean you hope the first black American president fails or whatever? Of course, it has nothing to do with that. It had to do with his ideas. He said, look, if his ideas succeed, what he wants to do, if those ideas succeed, America fails. America as founded is no more. America as founded is at risk with the ideas of President Obama. That's what Rush said in 2009. And that's what I think needs to be said here to Pastor Robert Jeffries, again, who I have a great deal of respect for. I think he's wrong. He's right on a lot of this as he talks about God and who God is and God's eternal sovereignty and that sort of thing. But he's wrong on a couple of key areas of application. And perhaps the biggest here is this idea that if President Biden succeeds, if allegedly the President Biden succeeds, we all succeed. That is factually incorrect. That is, if President Biden, God forbid that ever be the case, if Biden actually succeeds in implementing his ideas, the new Green Deal or whatever he wants to do to change healthcare or raise taxes, folks, that hurts you. That hurts America, and that is not a good thing. I don't care how much success Joe Biden has. That is not good for the American people. Timeout is in order. Come back and wrap up. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit ToddHuffShow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable, flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today. Providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price, our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
Welcome back, folks. I guess I've just echoed the sentiments that got Rush Limbaugh in trouble back in 2009. That I don't want Biden to succeed. We don't know a lot about Biden's ideas. I don't want him to personally fail. I just don't want the ideas that he is implementing, or that he tells me he wants to implement, the ideas that I hear his party talking about. I don't want those ideas to succeed, because if those ideas succeed, it means failure for America. That's what it means. It means failure for the greatest nation on earth. And that is simply not acceptable to me. And we will fight those tooth and nail all the way, no matter what. So, can pray for the guy, all of that, accept reality. If it comes to that, it hasn't yet. But anyway, got to go. SDG. Take care. See you tomorrow. As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.